Hello, everybody. Welcome into Launchpad Reseller Podcast. My name is Bob. I'm the Rocket City Reseller, and we are here today with Chef Mark Daniels. We are here today with Tennessee Treasures, Ellie, and also Shisha244, Ashley. And this is our final season of our final episode of season 1. And wow, what a whirlwind it has been. We just want to thank everybody that's been a part of this for the podcast. We have a little bit of a video that we're going to do on social media for season 1 for you guys to look at all the laughs and all the good times that we've had throughout the last 6 months. And what a way to finish it up. What a way to absolutely finish it up. I had the pleasure of doing this with Ashley and Ellie over the past 6 months, got to know them really well, and also a lot of really great guests. So we're going to go ahead and meet one more great guest. I feel like I know you already. I watch your shows. I'm a big fan. We're going to give you a proper intro. So Chef Mark is an executive chef, but he started off as a banquet chef. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. You correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to go through all your accolades, okay? So 2015, he started as a banquet chef, worked his way up to executive chef, leading a team to major recognition. City Business Best Independent Caterer, 8 years straight, 2017 through 2025. NACE Tasty Bites of the South, first place winner, 2017 and 2024. Winner of multiple culinary competitions, including Food Fight NOLA. He's from the great state of Louisiana, New Orleans. I don't know if I did that justice or not.
You said it right.
New Orleans. I'm trying, Chef. I'm trying. And then also, besides that, Crew de Pink, Death by Chocolate fundraiser is a part of that. He participates in ACFNO Best Chefs in Louisiana 2019 through 2024. Messina's also earned Best of the Knot and Wedding Wire Awards. So why all of those things are important is because, first and foremost, this is an executive and decorated chef who is a part of the community in the great state of Louisiana. And Louisiana has been through a lot of things over the course of the past few years, weather-wise, and the abiding by the culture and all the things that are happening down there. It's really super important. He's a stellar pillar in the community, and we wanted to recognize that, as well as recognize his ability to be a thrifter, reseller, businessman. We're going to get into all those details and how do you do both? How do you do everything at once? So we're going to go ahead and get into that. And I want to just thank you again for being a part of that. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to blow a whistle that you should be blowing yourself. Yay!
That's a lot.
So welcome to the podcast, Chef. How are you?
Thank you, guys. Yeah, doing great. Had a wet and soggy Monday here, but still snuck out and scored a jelly cat at lunchtime today. Made all of my gherkin peeps jealous.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm going to find one today. Dang it. That's awesome.
Chef, you have a natural ability to sniff out a jelly cat, I will say. There are a few people that are quite like that too. I know Cajun Reseller, and also you have the ability to do that. Johnny, Hustle to Resell, has an innate ability to do it. I've seen Lost in the Toil do it. All of Gherkin Nation, really, and you're a part of that nation, all of the resellers. So let's talk about chef thrifts, and if you want to talk about reselling and also chefing as well and how that works, we'll give you some time to tell about your story.
Sure. So everything you've rattled off with the accomplishments and all has been with Messina since I moved back to New Orleans in 2015. I grew up in New Orleans, born and raised. Katrina was actually my senior year of high school. I was a senior, and it should have told me that I was going to go into cooking and helping people, because we were feeding people up until they closed the interstates. We were at one of my uncle's restaurants feeding state troopers and all that. I actually came back down before my family and stayed in a camper behind the restaurant feeding first responders and stuff like that. Went to college. I was going to be a vet. I just knew that's what I wanted to do my whole life. And then 2008 market collapse happened, and all the vets I was talking to were going bankrupt. I said, well, I'm not going to get a bunch of degrees to not be able to pay my bills. So I pivoted from wanting to save animals to cooking them.
That's
Are they going to be so delicious, Chef?
Yeah. So finished with a culinary degree, was starting a master's, and my dad calls me and he said, we've been doing the live auctions. I grew up, my sister, my mom, my dad, and I, we were thrifted to survive, but we were always finding stuff to flip and redo and resell. And we were going to a local country auction. After Katrina, my parents ended up in Mississippi, and I was up in Natchitoches at school. And my dad said, "What do you think about opening an auction house?" And he was having some health issues. And I said, "I think it's a really good idea." So I moved down, and we opened a weekly live auction. And I had the best auctioneer partner ever. We ran Friday nights at my auction, Saturday nights at his auction. Antiques, collectibles is where I learned Westmoreland and Fenton glass and all the different collectible glasses, high-end Waterford crystal, different things like that was through the auction house over in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Unfortunately, my auctioneer passed away about 2 years into that. And it was one of those, it just took it out of us. Like him and I, from eating dinners together, going to Waffle House after the auction, waking up 2 hours later to go thrifting and garage selling and find stuff, just kind of lost that spark. So then I said, well, I got a culinary degree. I'd been cooking at a place during the day. Let me get back into cooking some more. Moved up into executive chef there, built a whole catering program, and then it was time to head back to New Orleans. And that puts us at 2015 when I came back in Macenas. Shout out to Chef Val, the real MVP. She's called me. Your mom's freaking out. You're cooking at a bar at night. I said, I'm making $300 or $400 cooking hot dogs, homemade chili, and steak sandwiches. I was fine with it. She said, come help me for a weekend. And the 22nd made 11 years. I've been with Messina since that weekend. I came and never left. So
That's a long time. Yeah.
Right.
That's a little bit on the culinary side.
Yep. Yeah. That's so so there was always a balance between reselling and also chefing, sounds like. So what's your most favorite thing to do if you had to pick one?
I love the hunt. I love going out. I love digging. This past weekend, we went, my daughter graduated Newton County, Georgia, Thursday night.
Congrats.
Yep. Going to Georgia Tech on a full ride. We're so lucky. But we spent the weekend up there. And one of the things we did was, let's go see Jag and Greg up in South Carolina.
Let's go.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome.
Oh, that's one of our big goals is all these people that are becoming family to us to travel around and get to see them. So first one was in March. Meemaw for Grands on Whatnot. She's kind of adopted a bunch of us as her adopted grandkids. And I was out working with Chef Emerald with his foundation in Destin. And she's in that area. And she's like, well, if y'all wanted to meet for breakfast, we sat there for 3 hours, cutting up, talking like old friends. I'd never met her in life. She's my internet friend that my mom's told me, always be careful about meeting.
We all grew up with that, right?
Typical mom, yeah.
Yep.
Would she be wrong, though,
It was such a boot. And walked up to Jag and Greg like we were old friends. The third booth we hit, Greg and I see all these little people and stuff like that. And we just hit it off with the lady. She has us digging in her storage. I'm, holding Greg up as he's climbing on boxes. We've never known each other except for cutting up over Whatnot and on text message. And you meet best friends like that doing this.
Yeah.
And that hunt, the meeting good people, meeting people similar to you, similar stories, and finding stuff. Something that I happen to know about because I've sold it before, I've moved it before, I've seen it before, and searching for those treasures. If I hit the lottery tomorrow, I'd still go thrift and hunt for stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Same.
Okay, I have a question.
Mhm.
You said that you, in this auction house, right, you're finding all of this crazy good, like Fenton and all this other stuff. So you started off as an everything seller. Are you still an everything seller? And how did you land on plush and toys?
I wish I knew. Still an everything seller.
That sounds right.
I start with Whatnot was 3 years ago. My sister came up to me. We should sell on here. Because like I said, thrifting's a family thing. My sister is actually doing her birthday show tonight on Whatnot. So after we're done, I want to head over and see her.
Heck yeah.
New Orleans Lady Flips. Good job.
Awesome.
But my sister's on Whatnot. I'm on Whatnot. My mom's modding on Whatnot for us and starting to sell ephemera and cards and all. Thrifting's a family thing. So currently I'm on, I can say all the sales sites here, right?
Yeah,
We got one
absolutely.
third
Yeah.
platform.
You're
Yeah.
That's
free.
the whole point of you being on, Chef, is we want to get the word out about you because we enjoy you and everybody else should be enjoying you as well. So
So I'm
feel free.
on eBay with full eBay store, and I've neglected it over the last 6 months because I enjoy the personal of whatnot. I
Mhm.
hate the shipping or whatnot, but I love the
Mhm.
talking and cutting up and going live.
Mm.
So eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, Etsy. I'm on Facebook Marketplace. I have 3 booths in one antiques market and another booth in another city, both on the Gulf Coast area. And I do whatnot. So I kind of split the items based on where I'm selling.
Mhm.
I started watching Bearded Thrifter. When I finally made the jump to do whatnot, I was modding for Bearded Thrifter. I found him on Facebook and we became friends. I started modding and I was buying stuff from him to resell in my booths because he wasn't getting those bigger crowds that he's getting now. I would buy Fenton from him. I would buy hand carved wood pieces, different antique pieces, stuff like that. I was buying as much as, you know, to resell more than I was buying from me. I was using whatnot for sourcing. So I was like, okay, he kept guilting me. When are you going to sell? When are you going to sell? When are you going to sell? So I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And I pulled everything I had in boxes for Mercari. I figured this is going to be that level because, you know, eBay was the higher end stuff. Poshmark was the clothes. Mercari was the household general. Because, like I said, I've been reselling before I was old enough to have accounts. I was listing and helping my parents late 90s on eBay. So
Wow.
I was joking with someone this weekend. I remember Mercari, I couldn't give jelly cats away. It was 4 or 5 years ago. I was giving away for $5 and $6
Yes.
and happy about it.
Same.
So a lot of my plush went through Mercari. So I pulled everything from Mercari. First show I did a little over a year ago, last April, was my first actual whatnot show. And it went okay, you know, $150, $200, hour and a half show. I was blessed. Bearded rated into me. I ran right after him because I was in his every single show. I was always modding for him. I was doing stuff. And then I did it again and I did it again. And I was, you know, and that same thing. I was bringing $2 and $3 items and selling for $2 or $3, but I want to do a little more. And in Louisiana, plush is a great thing to source. With the Mardi Gras cruise and everything else, all the thrift stores, I buy big bags of plush, $6 to $8 year round at Mardi Gras time. So I'll pull out Disney, pull out Jellycats, pull out FAO Schwartz, different collectible ones, and then I bag up whatever's left and resell it to people riding in Mardi Gras parades, just like Cajun Reseller does.
Genius.
That's amazing.
Smart. Absolutely genius.
Like I joke, I've got pictures of bead bags stacked in my hallway because even this early, people are buying for Christmas presents, birthday presents, and getting ahead for Mardi Gras next year. So it's one of those. There's no byproducts, just like being in the kitchen. I got a zero waste product. I have a use for all of it, and I just started getting known as one of the plush guys because it is a female heavy category. So being the guy, being the one cutting up, being the borderline inappropriate, the one in a pickle costume with no pants on, and I've laughed at myself my whole life.
Yeah.
Having that kind of rapport boosted me up more than, you know, everyone has the Mickey Mouse with the Disney stamp on the foot that you're trying to get $2 to $4 depending on. And with your repeat customers, they only can buy so many Mickey Mouse plush. You got to keep pushing and getting the new people coming in and just getting new eyes. So that's how I kind of ended up merging more toys and plush. I still, my first Monday of the month show, we do our Big Deal Energy Raid Train. I do more of a garage sale type show. I'll have some glassware, some sterling silver. I do silver coins. I just picked up 2 lounge flies back there. I do more of the used lounge flies, so it's not $70, $100. You can get a lounge fly for $15, $20 in my show that are in good shape.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So walk us through what it was like trying to build a presence on whatnot, or how's that been for you? Because I know that a lot of times people are like, well, you know, it takes a while. Did you come with a presence to whatnot, or are you organically building that?
So through modding, through being in shows, through being a buyer for more than a year before I ever sold, I had kind of a built-in group. And I've seen a lot of sellers do that. I hate social media. I'm learning more. I'm having to do more. It's not what I enjoy.
Mhm.
Whereas like Beard is big enough now, he can rely more on the social. He thrifts because he loves to thrift, but he's doing
Right.
reels and stuff like that because he wants to. In the beginning, he was doing it to drive more people. So I'm starting to do that. I think it's been a lot of organic, a lot of popping in shows, a lot of people. Ashley was the first one to put me on a raid train. The
Oh,
one and done on a Sunday was the first raid train I ever did.
wow.
And just growing like that. I think on that train I bought 2 or 3 other people's boxes because I knew something I saw in it that I could flip and resell and do. So, they Mark supported me. Let me go in his show and building that way.
Sorry, y'all. My computer's about to die.
All of that happened.
Bob,
Yeah.
your lights weren't on. Your computer's about to die. You thought I didn't catch that.
I mean, I don't know.
Way to be relaxed
I
at
was
the
like,
end.
Manic Mondays.
I know. Trip, right, fall right at the end of the season.
Yeah, Ash, I was saying, I think you were the first one to give me a shot on a raid train on one of your one and done on Sundays. I think that was the first raid train
with
I ever
Racing
did.
Through Time. Really?
Mm-hmm.
With Racing
figured
Through
it
Time
out.
2021? Wow. Yeah.
Awesome.
That was exciting. I mean, y'all killed it. Y'all always kill it, but yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, Ashley has introduced a lot of people to Whatnot. It seems as if we've had this conversation before, Ashley. So that's impactful for you, I would say. Just know that you're making a difference in people's lives, and that's important. So that's a good point to foot stomp
She's got
that.
her handful. Like
Yeah.
the stuff she deals with and puts up with to keep those trains going.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. And I think that's something we've kind of discussed with other people, other guests we've had on. It's a lot. And I think for me, it's kind of the same. It's this, I want people to grow. I think that's where I'm at. I want people to grow, be themselves and grow. And then at times, and that's what I think this past month, it just a lot. I was out of town for a whole month and that was not even the goal. Lost in a toy aisle. I appreciate you. I see your chat. Appreciate what you said in the chat. It's just, and I think that's kind of where I'm at is I'm trying to figure out the flow and I'm like, I can't to keep pumping them out. I'm like, slow it down. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. Slow it down a little bit.
That's what we've done, and I'm blessed. I know you're doing a lot. You have people who help you, but you take on the lion's share of it. With our Gherkin Nation group, with having Jag Resale, Emily Unleash, and Lost in the Toy Aisle, we have 2 main trains, and then we help Jag with her end of the month seller support and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The amount, like we had a guy go live during the Big Deal Energy a couple weeks ago, or Plush, and it froze. Whatnot froze. It shut his show down as they were about to take the raid. So we got in the chat, hey, you stay on, keep selling a little bit. I went live, did a gift card giveaway so he could reset. The amount of work behind the scenes of talking and communicating that I'm blessed we have 4 of us who can do it. And all the spouses are involved too. Colton's back with Emily helping. Jag and Greg are a team. I'm blessed with my wife, Kim. She does every step of this with me. That there's a bunch of us, like, because Greg's the one that caught it. Oh my God, his show didn't start. What are we going to do? All right. And then we pivoted and ran. But the amount of work it takes to put on a raid train, people have no clue. And to put on a good raid train.
Correct. Yes. Correct.
Chef, we're broadcasting over on Spotify. And one of the things we want to make people understand what we're talking about is we're talking about Whatnot. So I'm just going to explain that. And then I want you to give me Chef's Thrifts, Mark Daniels' version of what a raid train is and explain that for our listening audience on Spotify.
Perfect. So I view raid trains different. Raid train is a group of people that are going to send their audience to each other. I view them as a great tool for building your audience. It's to get new eyes on you from another seller who has those eyes already. Because there's only so many times a buyer can buy from you unless they're reselling or turning stuff over. Some people view the raid train because they're newer, that this is going to be the most money I get in the next 3 months, which is great. And that's why we try and sprinkle seasoned and new sellers in our raid trains. Everyone has some audience they're bringing with them, and it's new eyes for all of us. But for some people, it's this is the cherry that I'm going to make a couple $100 on this raid train. I'm going to keep going and keep trying it. And other people that have a following and have people, yeah, it's great to make money, but I want to get new buyers. I want someone who's going to see me on that Saturday raid train and be in the next couple Monday shows because they got such a good deal from me. So there's a lot of trains, different thoughts on what to get out of the raid train. I think both are helpful. I love making money. Like that's what we're all doing this for.
Yeah.
But I use the train.
Hopefully.
Yeah. If not, you're not.
Wonder.
But I want to get those new eyes. I want to get those buyers who, man, how did I live without Chef? How am I not watching every Monday night like a sitcom at 8:30 to see what goofy thing he's going to do?
Yeah, must see Whatnot TV is what we're looking for, right? Back in the old days on Thursday, I've made that comment before about this podcast, which is kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same general idea, right? The idea is to grow this and be a community in practice. We've said it so many times over the past 6 months. We've talked to everybody from just starting out to people that are running multi-million-dollar businesses through reselling. So we've had the gamut on the podcast that we've spoken to a lot of people, and it's always the same kind of vibe. You know, everybody's trying to or achieving what their goals because they want it more than they don't.
And
that's just it.
Community over competition. There's plenty of buyers out there.
Yeah.
I've watched raid trains where they're worried about their spot. They're not talking. They're not doing anything. They're going to sell their thing and then they're done.
Yeah.
No. You got to be talking. You got to be cutting up. You got to be sharing. It's about building together.
I don't think people realize the importance of Whatnot's ability for the social media part, because you're right. A lot of people are very like, this is, I just want to sell, and just marketplace is good for that. If that's all you want to do, Whatnot does have a robust marketplace. Available. Yeah. I mean, if you want to do it, but the whole point of Whatnot is to be social. At least appear social and find a community. It sounds like you found a great squad or community in practice, and that's awesome. And that's the power of Whatnot, building a tribe through. I've met so many great people through Whatnot. Let me just tell you, Gulf Coast Pickers, Ryan and Christine, she's in chat right now, were the first that I met. I think Tennessee Treasures, and then She Shed. I've met everybody through Whatnot. Can't say enough about it. Honestly, if it wasn't for Ryan Broy through Gulf Coast Pickers, I wouldn't have stayed on Whatnot more than 2 months probably. He was just like, Bob, don't give up. He's like, you can do this. So shout out to Ryan at Gulf Coast Pickers. Love you, buddy. We appreciate you, and the fact that I was able to hang in for 2 years and build a following of, I think I'm maybe 5,000, 6,000 people and 8,000 sold. I'm truly blessed to have had that experience, but it does come at a cost. It really does. That type of grind and work over like a year and a half, man, it was a lot. So I'd use word of caution. If you're grinding like that, give yourself some grace along the way. Don't be a Bob about it. Not go on every day. Well, maybe you can. Maybe you have that kind of energy, and it sounds like you might have that, Chef.
So the reason I'm doing Whatnot, and my family knows, and I'm like I told you, my sister's on Whatnot, my mom's on Whatnot, my dad's got an account to come in my shows, and he'll buy the ring. I have Hot Mom's hat I ran. I couldn't get a $2 bid. I had to go deliver it to my dad.
That's awesome.
I know there's a limit on what I can do in the kitchen with my body. I'm very young still. I got plenty of years left. Reselling is going to be my next thing when I do step away from the kitchen full time. I thought it was teaching. I started a master's in adult education and realized how poorly teachers are paid.
That's a damn shame, really.
Yeah. That I can sell plush and make more than a college professor. Really says something about our system that we can talk about for hours and hours. But I'm building this now while I can to have it when I need it.
Yeah.
So it's not just eBay. It's not just Posh. It's not just Mercari, because I like getting on and doing the cutting up. I like getting on and seeing the people. I've had people see me on Whatnot, find me on eBay, and buy stuff from me there they were looking for.
Nice.
Like, it's building that. This is more than just reselling. This is what I'm going to do next, because I don't do anything without putting the passion and heart into it.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing that you have such a great community all around. It sounds like your family is all in. And then, of course, Gherkin Nation. How did you guys meet? Gherkin Nation, Lost in the Toy Aisle, and Jag and Emily.
So Lost and I became friends first because we were coming up at the same time. I found her in a bearded show, and I'm going to do my first show. And I remember it was a Saturday or Sunday morning. It was like gallon bags of toys. And lower numbers in the room, and I was just getting started. So I bought a couple because I saw a little, the Hunchback of Notre Dame piece and stuff like that. But she knew what she had. You've been going some shows and people have no clue. They're just like, why aren't you buying this? She had really good stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then I started doing more shows. And I was like, I was moving more into toys and plush. I was like, all right, this is someone I can work with. And I think it was She Shed. And then we did Gulf Coast Pickers Raid Train. And it just started growing. Jag and Emily were a package deal. Emily and Jag were friends. And I was talking to Jag. I'll never forget. The first time I see Jag resale pop up was in a bearded show. Everything goes through Bearded Thrifted for me.
Shout out to Bearded.
Shout out, Bearded.
And I'm sitting there and I was confused in my head because I got Jag and Jarhead confused. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching Jag talk about how good those baseball players look in their pants. And I'm like, I'm glad he's happy. Like,
where's
no
this going?
judgment. That's kind of bold in here. Like, and then I'm like, oh, that's not Jarhead. Okay, I'm sorry. And I just hit it off, and that was it. And then if you ask Jag, her number one thing is that I'm in love with her husband. That's why I keep her around.
She just put that in chat, and that's.
I'm telling you though,
That's hilarious.
him and I sitting next to each other at a table this weekend at the flea market. We talked the same way to the lady. We so many mannerisms and things the same way. It just made me laugh because in 5 minutes we had already bought a whole group of little people and LOL dolls and stuff. But she had said, "Well, if y'all want to look, there's more in the storage container. Well, don't mind if we look? No, go ahead." And we're climbing in this 10-foot storage container, digging out bags of plush, bags of little people, all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
Nice.
And it's finding if Jag was here, we'd be going to dinner once a week and be best friends. We just happen to find each other through thrifting. Same thing with Lost, same thing with Emily and Colton.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pause right here. I'm going to tell you guys about My Reseller Genie. This is the accounting software for resellers. Okay, and this is leading up to a question that I have for you, but this software is integrated with eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Newly, Whatnot, which is really amazing. And it makes inventory keeping, bookkeeping, all of that super easy. Code Rocket City for 15% off. And if you get the yearly plan, that's 3.5 months free. Thank you for listening to my little spiel. My question for you, Chef. I was a little nervous saying this the first time. My
Usually on
so you do all the platforms, right? You do Whatnot. How do you do bookkeeping? Like, how are you keeping track of inventory? Because I'm sure you have a ton.
I've done many things in my life.
Okay.
My mother was an accountant and HR representative for a huge restaurant chain. So I was in middle school helping her do payroll and tip shares and running QuickBooks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. In multiple of the restaurants I've been involved with, I had to do payroll and QuickBooks and stuff like that. My wife makes fun of me that I'm a spreadsheet junkie. So I have an entire inventory system I built for all of my online stuff. Shelves are numbered, rows are numbered, bins are numbered with stuff for all of my reselling. All of my bookkeeping stuff, I have a whole spreadsheet I send back and forth with my accountant. Every business owner I talk to, find an accountant. Someone that just got out of school, someone that just got their CPA, find an accountant. We're not taught how to use the system.
Mm-hmm. So I have a basic understanding of accounting. I do my own taxes. That's why I like to ask that question. My Reseller Genie just helps organize all of the things, but that's great. So you have an accountant that helps you with all of that because
I have 3 or 4 LLCs across different other business ventures too.
Okay.
The amount of K1s and different deductions and things and how the part of the home office is set up and everything. I wish I knew that instead of
You're on the next level.
Like, I wish I learned that in school.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I'll
No,
tell you what, you're spot on, man. They don't teach us the important stuff like accounting and bookkeeping and how to run a business and all the
What a
things
real
that,
28% credit card fee looks like at the end of a year versus,
yeah.
you know,
if I
how to
had
diagram a
known in my
sentence.
younger years.
Yeah.
Yes, so true. A lot of that stuff goes into what I try to teach my kids in homeschooling. I have a 9 and 10-year-old, so they're not there yet. But like my about to be 15-year-old, these are the kind of things that and she doesn't homeschool with me. She's like, no, mom, I'm going to school. But
So my nephews are homeschooled. My sister, once again, shout out Diane.
yeah,
And they both mod for her whatnot. One of them runs the computer for her. They get
Wow.
a bit of money for it. They've learned about what to thrift. They came and spent a weekend with me and earned jelly cats so they could sell them
let's
because
go.
they wanted to sort plush and do stuff.
Oh,
I grew up,
love
it was
that.
AC work. My dad was fourth generation heating, air conditioning, refrigeration. So I was 12 years old carrying a toolbox.
Let's go.
And that gave me a lot of these lessons that I realize are more important now than the stuff I was doing in honors programs in the school.
Yes, yes. So my husband is in home renovations. My sons are still a little young, but they're getting like a sneak peek at what it looks like to work in manual labor, but as well as what entrepreneurship looks like from my end, right? So that's amazing. My kids do like local children's, what do they call them? Oh my gosh, children's markets,
Mm-hmm.
where the kids have to do all the sales. A lot of the
Take
kids
the money and give it out, have to make their own items. Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, one of my nephews, can I just buy this on Temu and resell it? No, that's not what this is about.
Stop. Yeah. So, I mean, that's awesome. I love all of that.
Emily said, can she get paid in jelly cats? And I'm like, hey, if you want to throw some jelly cats, I mean, if you keep finding them.
She talks a big game. I'm sending pictures out today from the thrift store. I sent the picture as big avocado I got today, and it was loose. It was $3. I send it, and Emily's like, no, you have too many. I said, okay, I left it. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry. I left it at the thrift store because I have too many for you, Emily.
That's funny.
No bueno.
I'll tell you what, it's definitely an interesting road that you've been on for everything that you've got going on. The fact that you can manage all that time management. Tell us about some of the skills that for a new person coming into reselling, because we do get a lot of people that are new to reselling on this podcast. What would your best advice be for someone coming in, knowing time management wise?
Knowing the other time it's going to take. I spend more time shipping than I do sourcing, cleaning, setting up, and running a show for individual items.
Wow.
And then all of the parameters you don't realize. I said, I've sold
Even
on
with
eBay
plush
20
stuff?
years. Huh?
Even in the plush category, you spend more time shipping than everything?
Because my average show is 100 to 125 items, and it's mixed plush and toys and some other stuff. And even though I'm averaging 20 or so buyers, I always have that one that's 30 items, 32 items.
Yeah.
If I just put it in one big box, thanks to Whatnot shipping, it's $68.
Right.
So, okay, nothing can be over 18 inches. It's got to fit into these sizes. And then, all right, how do you break it down? Because I sold on eBay. I sold everything from model boats that were 5 feet long to air conditioner, refrigeration parts. I'm like, shipping, that's nothing. No, it's its own animal on Whatnot.
Yeah, Whatnot is different.
Everything I knew about shipping out the window.
Well, they've gotten a little bit more strict about shipping, and this is probably a good time to talk about that.
Yeah.
If you're new to Whatnot, or if you're not new to Whatnot and you've had shipping concerns, it's gotten more intriguing for sure. And I'm not exactly sure what the background about it is, but it sounds like maybe people were not being as straightforward with their shipping. Possibly.
A lot of what I've read and what I've talked to people, the Whatnot was absorbing if it got caught after your post office accepted it. So if it hit a different hub and it's, you put the wrong label, you did this. Sometimes the buyer would get a bill, but other times Whatnot would eat the difference from the post office.
Right.
So if you go back, you can see, like since I've been on Whatnot, I had 4 items that had to have adjustments. 4 out of 5,000, I feel pretty good.
That's not bad odds right there. That's pretty good.
2 of them were like $1.42. It was like 6 ounce, and it came in at 7 or 8 ounce or something like that. Right. So 4 items, I can live with that. But you have people putting flat rate labels on non-flat rate boxes, taking big shipping boxes and putting priority labels on them way over 5 pounds. And that was the abuse that got it red flagged, because Whatnot was eating $20, $30, $40 on some packages. And some of it went to the buyers. Like I got one I bought from a new seller I was trying to support. And I bought 2 little figures, a little fish in a chef hat and a Cheshire cat. And I got a bill for $12 because they put it in a priority envelope. Dang. Even though they charged $4.
They really need to go back to the onboarding and doing like some sort of at least basic shipping class to get onto Whatnot, because it's crazy.
So I messaged the buyer, hey, I paid it, you're new, oh yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm getting off Whatnot. Good luck. Hope you get your stuff. And blocked me.
Oh wow.
One less.
I went.
Well, I mean,
thanks.
I wonder if this is gonna. Well, if we talk about maybe it being a swamp in that regard, I wonder if this will clear the swamp a little bit of those people that are doing that. Perhaps maybe that's the point of this, without them having to worry about shadow banning or worrying about if they meet a certain criteria. Now there's at least a metric they could say, okay, you did this thing and you're not doing it right. Now you can go.
The first time you get a bunch of bills from Whatnot and you find out these overages, if you don't, I got a 22-inch box the other day. Went, I only bought this for, $30-$40. But it got here, there was nothing on the box. I went, man, I can't live like that. I messed up last week. I had 2 buyers, MAP, MAY, both large flat rate boxes with the same amount of items in them, and I crossed the labels up.
Dang it.
I've done that before.
I sat there and I tore my stomach up. I messaged them both. Once one realized, I found out it was the other one. It was like $34 on pirate ship. Sent them labels. They sent them to each other. Everyone got their stuff. But if you don't, on Whatnot, if you don't take those steps, well, they just get their money and that's it. No, I wanted people to get what they bought from me. I wanted everyone to be covered and happy.
Right.
Just so many buyers. Oh no, that's Whatnot's problem now.
So are you? I got a follow-up question. Are you doing the reduced shipping still, or are you
921 max shipping?
So a little bit of that gets absorbed right through you're hoping that they buy in volume, which is not a bad strategy, right? You're hoping that they're in it for a penny, they're in for a pound, and that you'll make it back in the number of items they buy, which is something that we did. Well, I did when my wife's still Whatnotting. Fiona's Finds. Make sure you're following her. She's awesome.
Finds.
Yeah. But so you're still doing reduced shipping. Do you see more people going away from that? Have you noticed that yet?
I haven't seen it in art groups. The people who take advantage of it in mine are the ones that come back every week. I had a guy who would buy 20 to 30 items a week on it. Now, in our seller support with Jag and Greg, they told me they were talking about shipping settings and all. And they said, well, yeah, first class for your giveaways, which my first 6 months, I paid $450 for every giveaway I sent out. I had no idea about doing stickers and all that.
I think we've all been down that road.
And then the priority, and then I had ground advantage. They said, no, flat rate. That way you control the charges. You control what the extra shipping spend is. So when I have these, look at my father-in-law.
Hey,
sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make sure
that's awesome. Hey, guys.
Showing the love to you, Chef. Right, sorry, go.
So by doing that, when that guy would buy 4 boxes, I could use my 5 credits for the week, and I paid nothing extra for his shipping. If I just had it as ground advantage, Whatnot told me, oh, no, we charge you an extra $38, and this is how you have to ship it, whether it fit or not. And then I had to pay more overages. The nuanced tricks like that, you only learn from talking to other resellers and figuring it out. That people, I know what I'm doing. You can't make it at $2 starts. You can't make it with max shipping. Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
just saying.
I think there's room. Definitely we make our money when we buy the stuff. A lot of people need to realize that, if you're trying to look for the money after, that's not when you make your money. You make your money when you source. So a lot of us are getting it by weight, bulk deals, stuff like that. That's how Rocket City's always kept our prices down.
Yeah. Like I have when I did Jack's with Brian, I showed him little Fisher Price cubes from the 90s and all. Like, he had a bowl, and I said, "Oh, I got these sitting here." He said, "You gonna run them on what?" And I said, "No way." I said, "Well, why not?" Not one person in a year on Whatnot has asked me for these. They're $5 a piece on eBay. Why am I going to throw them on Whatnot and then complain that no one comes in my room out of all the rooms on all the Whatnot everywhere and ask for these obscure Fisher Price pieces? Now, Jellycats, I don't care if I give them away. It's to bring people in. I buy them cheap. I've even gone and bought some retail. I got that whole jelly cubby right there. One of my PR girls for the catering company went to Europe. She brought me back exclusive European Jellycats that you can't even buy here. I'm going to start them at $2 because the people that come in know they can get a Jellycat every show. And if I make something, great. If not, I'm going to make it on everything else, and the eyes are going to see the other stuff I have.
They call it a loss leader in the game.
Restaurants, grocery stores. You know, you go get your $7.99 ribeye. You're not going somewhere else to buy your Cokes, your potatoes, and everything else. Right. I treat Jellycats that way and Loungeflies that way. But you got people who, I got to make $60 on every Jellycat. Well, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, they'll be sitting on it.
Yeah, they'll be sitting on it. Strategy. They're looking for a unicorn. I'm a little bit like torn about that too, because I'm that type of person. I'll self-admit that sometimes I get too emotionally attached to the item, and it's just part of my personality, and then why I struggle with Whatnot. So I'll go ahead and say that for the record. So a lot of it sometimes I'm torn, but I have had moments as well where I also start to understand it, and I'll run the most random thing for $1. I'll run it like $100 item for $1. I'll go in some show and tip them. It's not so much about the money; it's the principle, I think, for me. So being a person of principle sometimes stings a little bit. It was like, I know this is worth X, right?
I was going to say, let's talk about it, because
it's a tough conversation.
I guess I see it more as a promotional item than anything else, because I can list these Jellycats on eBay and wherever, cross post them, and they're going to sell, and they're going to sell relatively quickly for the market value. But then I don't have that hype if I don't bring that to my Whatnot shows.
And that's why I'll never be an only Whatnot seller, as much as I'd love to be.
Right.
But that was one of the things I liked about Whatnot. I don't have to picture it. I don't have to write the whole description out. I don't have to store it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm pre-listing Jellycats because I know if I pre-list as opposed to just having one every Monday, I get a 20 or 30% bump on it.
Yeah.
I use hashtag Jellycat on all my Facebook posts about it. And I get almost every Jellycat goes to a new buyer. And I have a core of Jellycat buyers who come in my show.
Yeah.
I've learned so much from Paul Lindsay on Whatnot. She's starting to sell more, but she came in as a buyer. She saw I had a Jellycat, and she's taught me about different ones and the moves versus the other ones. And she even sent me tag protectors with some other I got from her.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know they had them.
Right. I was going to say, that sounds like a Beanie Baby to me.
Right. But I know.
Yeah. This is 2026.
My dad and I resell a lot is appliance parts. I'm not going to run appliance parts on Whatnot. I know I can get the money for those elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
that
that's
makes sense.
how I break it up.
That makes sense. I would imagine HVAC, anything would sell. We just had Sean Fines, part of the podcast, and he's an everything seller. He just recently got, I don't know if you see his content or not, but he just got a trailer full of heating and cooling stuff. So it's
that
insane.
Was Jag jokes. We talk about it. You got to pivot in whatever you're doing. Senior year was Katrina, wiped out most of New Orleans. My parents were on the Gulf Coast, and my dad did some construction, some new installs, but there wasn't a lot to repair. Either it was replaced or it was fine. So he had rooms of capacitors, switches, stuff like that. And with the advent of YouTube, people were fixing on their own. So my dad started posting up. Here's the thermostat. I'm fourth generation HVAC. Tell me what your unit's doing. If I think it is this, buy it from me.
That's not a bad strategy.
And he's answering people. We can get more for a used dryer in parts than I can selling a dryer anymore. If you want to part it out and take the time. But now I'll drive down the street and see a random appliance, throw it in the truck, diagnose it, and pull the good parts, and then give my scrap guy the rest.
Hmm.
It's not a bad business model right there. Knowledge is power, and having a wide breadth of knowledge definitely will help you, especially for it sounds like your business, which is important to understand too. That this is part of the problem I have with niching down. Now, obviously, we're niche down too. Plush only is what we sell, and we sell it everywhere, not just Whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always struggle with the fact that, and when Ellie and I had this conversation offline about becoming everything resellers because of the need, sometimes needs and wants, depending on the market. Obviously, you need what you need. Sometimes you want what you want, and you always can't get what you want. So we're want sellers, where we sell things that people want, and it's harder for that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys had them on this month. I'd love to be House of Coop. I'd love to be doing Brass and Fenton and do that whole Fenton buyout and all that stuff. Like I know the Silvercrest, I know all the different stuff. I've moved them, I've sold them. I tried running a Fenton piece and gave it away for $3.
That
My
hurts.
booths, I know I can get 50,
You
60
don't have
bucks.
the audience for it. Yeah.
And that's why, like, as much as in my gut, I'm like, no, I need to do Chad Bearded, House of Coop, these guys. That's what I want to do. That's how I like to sell. If I'm the plush guy, I'm the plush guy. It works for me.
Yeah.
Well, I will say for the record, it is possible to cross category on Whatnot, although it is harder. And matter of fact, first, I'll give you a little teaser for a chef special here for everybody that's listening for season 2. The first episode of season 2 is going to be Mama Cat Thrifter.
Yeah.
Now she has proven that it is possible to cross category through Whatnot and be extremely successful.
Yeah.
So you're not going to, if you're into Whatnot, if you're into reselling other places, she's been selling since she's 14 years old. So 22 years she's been selling. And I will just say that it is possible, chef. So just being the plush guy, and I know you're okay with that, and that's okay too. That's what I am, and I'm okay with that as well. But just know that it is possible if you want to be someone like a Bearded or just as an example.
That side, and it's got plush on it now, but the Lounge Flies, the Vera Bradleys, the Vintage Pizza Hut.
I just want to encourage you. Yeah, I want to encourage you that if that's what you definitely want to do, that it can take time, and she's proven that you can do it. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that it is possible on Whatnot to do that.
Yeah, first Monday, 6 p.m. That's when I'm doing my garage sale show.
Let's go.
There it is right there. You heard it here first. So social media has been a drag for a lot of people that do this. Do you have to be a social media guru in order to resell? That's a question that I often get from people.
Yeah. I feel like you don't have to, but it helps. The amount I've learned in the last 6 months, and I'm, my chef's page, I have 2,000 people on now, or right at 2,000. We're growing, but it's organic. I'm not doing a bunch of money spent. I'm not doing stuff like that. I'm sharing in the Whatnot groups. I'm commenting on other resellers with similar stuff. But you get into that same thing. You got to have that one thing go viral to get those new people in, the outside. Because if I go and steal all Jags people and Lost people and New Orleans Ladies people, it's the same buyers.
Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah. And restaurants, you call it the 80-20 rule. 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers. There's only so many Mickey Mouse Plus you can sell them.
Yeah, that's a good point. It becomes an echo chamber at that point. You're just kind of spinning your wheels. That's the part of raid trains that's a little bit more attractive to me. I'm not a huge fan of raid trains because the limited time. If it starts getting hot, usually right near the end for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why that always is, but maybe it's maybe it's like the anticipation of you having to move on that kind of lights a fire under people. Oh, I need to get what I want now before they get out of here. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So for all you resellers, one of the reasons I tell people you got to do raid trains, limited shipping. I could go and do a 2 or 3 hour show 3 or 4 days a week. But if I do that raid train with Gulf Coast that every other Wednesday and it's a 1 hour, I know I'm going to I hit 93 items the Wednesday before I left on my trip. And I had to pack them all right after the show because we were leaving Thursday morning, which was my own mistake. But if I run on 1 hour or a 30-minute or even a 15 on some, it's a very limited back end time because I can only run this long. And during the show, you get a feel. Y'all have all done live. All right, this is moving or it's not. I'll do the sudden death plus. Let's go. 5 seconds, run it. When I want to get it going a little bit more. But if you don't, you can limit it down to 20 or 30 items and you're getting new eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the appeal of why I still jump on a bunch of these raid trains I've done since I was a brand new seller, because I like the people involved. I like the hosts. Shout out She Shed, Gulf Coast Clippers. And it limits it. If I go on and I'm all right, I need to push for at least an hour, then I'm going to try and hit 100 items is my next goal after an hour. And then it's going to be 2 or 3 hours of shipping and sorting and going through at the end, as opposed to now it's 30 minutes. When I'm done, I'm done. I raid out and I sit there and hit the screen, send hearts, and support other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk about the power of Whatnot, though, because, I mean, we've talked about a lot of the negative things about Whatnot, but let's start talking about some of the positive things about Whatnot. Not maybe negative, but like some of the challenges maybe of Whatnot. Let's talk about some of the power of Whatnot and the financial treasure trove it is if you can kind of get that audience, right? It becomes this like lever all of a sudden to your business.
Whatnot
cash flow is king.
Yeah.
So
I view it now like eBay was in the 90s. Live selling is the next thing. That's why eBay is incorporating. That's why Whatnot's growing. That's why all these things. And Gary, what's his last name? I can't remember. The big influencer has been talking about it for a year or two.
Gary V.
Yeah.
That this is the next thing. And that's another reason why I decided to do it. Because, I could picture each item, put it on eBay, let it sit and all. And I don't think eBay is going anywhere.
Right.
But this is the next trendy thing with buying. People want to be entertained, want to see it, want to have that interaction, want to have that little bit of excitement. That's why I told you, if you got to get $20 for everything you're running, go to eBay. No offense. You're not going to do it here. People want to get a deal, and they have to at least have it seen that they could get a deal at some point. If you're sitting there, no, everything's a $20 start, and I'm not going to run anything until I know I got 30 people in the room. Why are you doing it? You're trying to make Whatnot work for you instead of you working in what Whatnot is.
You have about 3 seconds to grab someone's attention on social media, and Whatnot being a social media reselling platform, you have about that to gain their attention as well. And I want to encourage people that are having shows and they don't see people in their room, just know that they have the ability to look at your show from the outside in. And so that you need to keep on going, and whatever that looks like, and push through that. I had a mentor in Ryan Broy, Gulf Coast Pickers, to encourage me. I want you to find yourself a mentor to do that as well, and reach out to even just, you never know what someone's going to say. If you were to reach out to myself, Ellie, She Shed, Mark, anybody, and just say, hey, listen, I'm struggling here. Any advice? You'd be 9 times out of 10, I bet you would be surprised by the Whatnot community telling you, this is my advice, even going so far as doing private shows. Ruth Ann, 4-season picker, she's mentored many people, and I've done private shows and went through the process with them to encourage them and bolster their selling. So Whatnot can be that for you. You just got to be comfortable enough to ask.
And a mentor who's going to be honest with you.
Yes.
In our group, I've told Lost, Jag, and Emily, I don't like this. I don't think this is what I would do. And we talk, when we talk about our raid trains and how we're bringing people, we got to be honest and talk. If it's my sister, if it's my mom, if it's your cousin, I don't care. We got to talk like business and find a mentor who's not going to try and bill you at the end. That's a big thing. I'm saying more and more on Whatnot that's bothering me. I'm not calling out names, not saying anything, because everyone does it their own way. But there's people who you can ask for advice, and there's people who are going to take money from you, tell you they're going to set you up, and then screw you over and walk away.
Yeah.
There's plenty of honest people on here who want to help you and want to see everyone succeed. Community over competition. That's what it needs to be. And if you can't build it on that, you're not in with the right people. For my 3rd week selling it. Beard, what do you think about my post? Your pictures suck. You need to update your title because they don't know what you're actually selling. Lost. Tip. Buy my junk. That for 2 years, almost a year, I ran "Come buy my junk" as my tag. People scrolling whatnot who didn't know me, that's not very enticing. So no, I put Disney, Jellycat, Pusheen, more of what I got. Just trying to, and I had 4,000 followers at that point. I'd sold a couple thousand items, and just little stuff like that. What your picture looks like, what your tagline says, like what your fine print says. Do you have no returns, no cancellations? Do you have check all items as you're running it? What does your actual listing picture look like? All these little things that you don't think are that important, but to someone new that you got 3 seconds for, it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want you to give your take on the folks that I see a lot of this. I'm in a lot of social media groups online. That I had my first show today. It was terrible. I'm going to give up. What would your best advice be for those folks that are expecting immediate success and encouragement?
I always ask, what did you do besides just going live? Whenever anyone says, I went live, okay, well, what did you do? Did you get on social media? Did you get in the reselling groups? Did you message someone you know on whatnot? Did you tell your family sign up and make accounts so you had some people in your room? Did you have your spouse have on different accounts, sit over there and hit the stars, hearts in the middle of the page? I don't promote shill bidding. I did live auctions. You got your ass beat or went to jail if you did that. So there's a line, but there's no reason you can't stack your room. You stack the deck. You have good pictures. You have good promotion. You talk to people. You cannot expect Whatnot to do all the work for you. Whatnot makes a commission. The better you sell, the more Whatnot supports you. They get everyone at the beginning. Here's your money back. Here's a bunch of eyes. And then you got to build it. It's not. It's active sales versus passive sales. If you want to do passive sales, go to eBay. Half the people I talk to when they lay out all their stuff to me about Whatnot, you really should look at eBay more. You want to get top dollar. You can't look at a month overview like a food cost in a restaurant. A lot of my stuff goes back and forth to restaurants. You can't run food costs by the day in a restaurant. You get a rainy day, you get a graduation, food numbers go up and down. That's why you do food costs by a month, a quarter, a year. If I sold this and I made $2, but I sold this and I lost $1, so I can't sell this anymore. No, it's got to balance. And Whatnot's not this magic thing that's going to promote for you and drive everyone to you and do all this. You have to work it too and use the tools they give
you.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, that's solid.
I want to encourage you to get on social media more if you have time. I know your time is limited, but a lot of what you're saying needs to be heard and by other people. There's not enough people, I think, saying what is actually real, because I think people just want followers and likes, so they give them what they want, not tell them about the real, like, gritty part of reselling, which is my content, which is why it's not growing as fast. So we tell them that this is the real, the actual, the factual. This is what reselling looks like. It is absolute controlled chaos all the time. This is, but also this is what it can do for you and your family.
I work harder outside the kitchen doing reselling for less money, but I enjoy it. I enjoy going to the thrift store with my family, with my whole family. My mother-in-law is reselling on eBay. Kim goes with me. The kids go with me. The nephews.
We had a comment in chat. Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to highlight this because this is everything right here. Gulf Coast Pickers 941 says, yes, a lot of people think being on a raid train is going to make them better, but you got to do the work. That's what makes you better.
Say it for the ones in the back. Say it for the ones.
You go on a raid train and you got 50 new eyes on you, which is good numbers in our category. If you got a 50-person show, you think of the bigger, higher in our categories, 80 to 100. We hit 112 on my Plus Raid train last month on a random Saturday. But if they come to that and they go to your normal Tuesday show and you're flat and you're tired and you don't want to be there and you're not running anything because there's not enough people here, you wasted all that time on the raid train building a following. And
is true.
any of the ones who've met me on here will tell you this is exactly how I am at home. This is how I am in person. This is how I am in the kitchen. What you see is what you get. You see people and you can tell it's their customer service voice and they're trying to portray a certain thing. It doesn't last.
Authenticity. We've talked about it a million times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Building a persona is just tiring. So don't do that, please. God, Lord. Don't.
I wanted to highlight Emily Unleashed said in chat, network. You cannot expect things to happen for you if you don't put in the work. When I first found Whatnot, I was on different people's shows. Like I started in home decor and I was like, okay, this is going to be great. I don't have to put in my booth. I can sell it fast on here. It took a while to build that up. And I'm like you, Chef. I don't know how I wound up in the plush and toy category, but here we are.
I still think all my shows are in the garage sale category. I don't think I ever changed it to the plush category. I think I still run all my shows from the garage sale category.
Wow.
Wow.
But it's that I think I found people. Like I started getting into toys and was looking at everybody, and that's kind of like you learn from other people too, like how they're running it. Okay, is that going to work? Like there's different things I tried that I was like, some things for me, and it goes back to you have to do what's going to work for you. Some people will just go, I have this item, or here, what do y'all want to see? And sometimes y'all know that when people are in your room, sometimes they're like, it's like they're the kid in class that they don't want to be called on, that they're not going to respond. So you have to keep that momentum going.
Something will sit on the shelf because no one asked for it, and I just keep going over it. And I'm like, let me take it. And it sells.
Mm-hmm.
And Lost, Emily, my sister, everyone will call me out when I was, what are y'all looking for? When I, like during Jazz Fest, I was working 15-hour days and I didn't want to give up my Monday show. I didn't do any extra raid trains. I didn't add anything, but both Mondays of Jazz Fest, I got on and did my Monday night show. And I was exhausted.
That's tough right there.
And they could tell. And one was stupid busy, of course, because I didn't want to ship it. And the other one was slow because it's Whatnot. It happens. And I'm sitting there. I finally lean on. All right, guys, what are y'all looking for? Just tell me what you want me to run. I can't do this anymore.
That's so real, though.
That is real. That slaps in so many ways. I've been there so many times.
Yeah, everyone's had shows like that where because if we didn't push through shows like that, we wouldn't be here now talking about it. The ones who say, no, I'm too tired, I'm not doing it, or, oh, yeah, I know, but I'd rather go do this tonight, they're not here anymore. I can't tell you the amount of people I've bought from over the last year who aren't on Whatnot now. And there's people filling in behind them. It's not like there's a lack of sellers.
Oh, they'll forget you in a minute. That's the thing about what pretty much anything. What have you done for me lately, right? The old saying.
Yeah.
So that's why I've always had that existential moment about taking the pause. I'm not really sure I'll come back to Whatnot, and that's okay. For me personally, I don't know yet. I keep on waffling with the idea. I think that when I'm ready to have some fun and remember that, I think that's when I'll make my return. Until then, I'm going to just continue doing what we're doing and showcase great resellers like yourself who are putting in the work. She Shed 244, Tennessee Treasures, all you guys, Jag Resell, my wife Fiona's Finds, all the people, Gulf Coast Pickers. You guys are just putting in the work day in and day out, and I admire it. I really do admire the dedication to it. So I just wanted to just shout. I know I probably missed a few people, but in the community that we have in the plush and toy category, it's a great community to be a part of, and everybody's really supportive. So if you're not following Chef Mark Daniels on Whatnot, what are you doing with your life? This is the time of the podcast, Chef. If you haven't heard, we do a thing here where we do this thing where we call someone out that you would love to see on Launchpad Reseller podcast. So I'm going to do it officially. Chef Mark Daniels, who would you like to see on Launchpad Reseller podcast?
Well, I would. You still got to get Jag and Emily. That Lost called out. So Jag Resells and Emily Unleashed and New Orleans Lady Flips. Because you think if I'm interesting, you should meet my little sister.
You'll love it.
New Orleans Lady Flips, you've been called out on Launchpad Reseller podcast. And we also have the rest of the crew in the backlog. And we apologize for the length of time that takes to get people on the show. We're just booked through, which is not a bad thing. Like I said, we're building a community in practice and a lot of great resellers coming up. So many. it's hard to really. I just wanted to, thank a lot of those people that, Wade's Ventures came in 100 subs. He came deep with his following. We got 100 subs from him. We can't
Speaking of
appreciate
which,
him.
I know
Which
it's
one?
floating across the bottom of the screen there, Bob, but
Yeah. Like
what's the
and
percent of the
subscribe.
people that don't watch?
It's like 90% of the people, Chef. Can you believe that? 90% of the people that watch this thing, we're getting like sometimes 180,000 views on this
That's
podcast.
awesome.
And we're not getting the subs on the channel. So if you could just kind of sub and like, comment, it really does help the channel grow. And it helps us to bring great resellers like Chef Mark Daniels to you. And you can hear interesting stories about reselling, find out how you can become a reseller. Because I think if you haven't never tried it and you're watching this and you're hearing the sound of our voices, just know that it might be a path forward. Not everybody should be a reseller. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that everybody should do that. But if you have never tried it, maybe you should try it. Everybody's looking for a side hustle in this day and age. And why not reselling? It can definitely help move the needle for you and your family. So
Not
it's
everybody
definitely
should be a reseller, Bob, but anybody can be a reseller.
I will. Yep,
Like
absolutely.
a chef.
Like, listen, if Chef
Yeah.
can put in a 20-hour day at the kitchen and
Yeah.
still continue to resell, surely, my friend,
It's definitely a
surely,
grind. Yeah.
surely you can do it too. And you're inspiring to me, Chef. You're making me feel like the need to come back, but I'm also not a crazy person. I know my limitations. I'm not saying you're crazy, Chef.
Oh, a little bit, but it's
Maybe a little. Maybe a little. Jury's still out, right, Chef?
yeah.
So this is usually the time of the day where we open it up to chat for comments, and we've been taking comments throughout the course of this episode of the Launchpad Reseller podcast. And again, Spotify, we love our Spotify community as well. And we want to thank you for listening in on Spotify's, and make sure you go to YouTube if you have, or comment on Spotify. And we'll be sure to get those comments over to Chef so he can answer all the questions that you may have. So just know that.
Just don't run any Jag asking about what me and her husband did.
It is true.
We're going to read some of the questions. I'm going to let Ellie read this question. Or
Joelle
Saban, maybe.
says, thank
Might
you
be
for having
Saban.
me during your first season. It was incredibly nerve-wracking for me, but part of my journey is always stepping outside of my comfort zone. Thank you guys for helping me grow. Our pleasure. We were so glad to have you on, Raquel.
Yeah, for sure. One thing about Lost in the Toil that we enjoy is her energy and the fact
Absolutely.
that she can bring that to every show. That's incredible. I
You
will
should be in
say
a
so.
group chat with her. And she don't turn it off.
I can only imagine.
It's a contagious energy for sure. I think all of you guys have something great going. So I guess while we wait for some questions from the chat, bring your deepest, darkest questions for Chef here. But my question is, well, I don't know if it's a question rather than like play devil's advocate here a little bit. You are a little bit firm on your stance of, okay, let's do lower starts. You're not going to be able to bring your higher starts, things like that. Now we just had Bob help. Is it Knox next door that they start retail and they're incredibly successful on Whatnot. So what do you say to people who like? There's a lot of controversy on the Whatnot groups on Facebook. People saying Whatnot is lost. You can't make it on Whatnot. It's a race to the bottom, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So other talks and things with people, I've definitely been tagged in that I am single-handedly ruining plush on Whatnot because of my low starts. I'm cheapening the market and dropping the bottom out for everyone around, and resellers like me should get off the app or start charging more.
Wow.
Oh yeah, like tagged in people's shows with this. Like
Wow.
Whatnot is the high school drama of reselling. I just laugh because I have
Yeah.
enough drama in my life.
Mhm.
Like I do disaster feedings for hurricanes. You think I care what you said about me on your podcast or your little Whatnot page? It has to be, it has to be what works for you.
Yeah.
My recommendation for people is if you need retail, go somewhere where they're expecting retail. I view Whatnot like I did live auctions. They want a deal. They want to get it a little cheaper. And sometimes it goes more. My only things I don't bring on Whatnot are usually very niche items, very like small group. Like I said, those play school pieces, or like I have that Lizzie McGuire bag that sat up there because I can't figure out how to ship it on Whatnot.
I need to come pick that up from you. I see
right?
it.
Yeah, now you see it.
I'm so glad she made a comeback, by the way. Hillary Duff is
but
OG.
It works for me to do the lower stars because I'm also buying it. Like Bob said, you make your money when you buy it. I can go out all day and spend $100 on stuff and say I got to sell it for $400, or I can go out and find deals and find the stuff at the right price and pivot, change. All right, these aren't selling, so I'm not going to put glassware on Whatnot. I'm going to do this. And then later on, I don't want to ship glassware and Whatnot. Maybe I do want to sell more plush.
Yeah.
I will say plush is one of those things that are easy to ship.
But do you ever feel like Dexter or a serial killer, like shoving plush in a box or putting them in a bag and squeezing the air out? Like,
yeah, we one time
Unleashed go with packing tape and bags one time. Like, it was scary.
Yeah, we have these big. We have one time sold a big peep, one of those big peeps, and we had folded this thing down, put it in an air saver bag, did all the things to try to get into that like cubic feet or cubic inches that we were talking about, right? So doing all those things, we put it in the box. It's sealed up. It's barely holding on for its last breath. Wake up the next morning to go to the post office. Can of biscuits.
Oh, no.
It was like, oh my goodness, what just happened?
But to actually answer, instead of all the theory and thought behind it, no matter what you got to get for it, run it. There's so many people on here say, oh, I got to get $10 to start it. And they don't never run it at $10. They'll sit there and stare at you and wait for you to beg them to run it for $10. Whatever you got to get for it, run it. You can't sell it if you don't run it.
Yeah, Corey Mannix said it best. Run that shit. He wrote a book, right?
Yes. If you touch it, run it. Shoot.
You touch it, run it.
Touch it, run it. That's our rules. I like that one a lot better.
Yeah, touch it, run it.
Yeah, Corey Mannix is an interesting guy. Hopefully someday we can get him on the podcast. You never know. But Chef, what do you think, Corey Mannix? On the
call him out right now. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. We already did the call out.
I wish he had more aftercare for his people.
Yeah.
I think they need a lot more than here you go. Here's a bunch of buyers. Good luck. I think there needs to be more follow through and support than that. I bought Power Ranger Zords from Tennessee here.
Let's
You did. Okay, let me read the question. Gulf Coast Picker says, have you ever found something from your childhood and kept it?
I got a Red Dragon Zord, and she did not want to run it that night, and I knew she didn't want to. It was on a raid train. I think it was the Nostalgia train. Yeah. And she said, I got to have 30 for it. I said, run it. And I bought it for $30, and it's sitting on my private collection.
Let me tell you what. That sucker has been sitting on my shelf for like a year and a half. So, and I found it at the bin. So,
yeah,
that's awesome.
I'll collect a few Power Ranger things. All Dogs Go to Heaven was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. So I got a bunch of PVCs I've gotten and stuff like that. And Snoopies.
All right, here's another question from Lost of the Toy Aisle. What is your favorite funny memory from Whatnot?
I got yelled at by my mom during the Jazz Fest show. I had a Miss Rachel doll. I couldn't get $2. I grabbed another Miss Rachel doll, and I said, we got Miss Rachel and Miss Rachel action here. Buy them both for $2. And I got a text from my mom. Did you just say Miss Rachel and Miss Rachel action on live? Sorry,
that's
Mom.
A pow shit.
That's the most.
That's Miss Rachel.
Mom's like, I know I raised you better than that.
Are any of y'all in my birthday show or see any of the stuff? Jag sent us our telegram that they found a guy in New Orleans that would show up in a full hot dog costume to sing opera to me and tell me happy birthday with balloons in the middle of me running a show.
The post of it, but I didn't see the live. I saw the post of it afterwards. That's hilarious.
It's, trying to get people in and do stuff. So the joke was how naked I was going to be. So I go live in a full tuxedo from my wedding. So I'm selling in a tuxedo, which was a bad move to start with. I'm starting to lose clothes as we're going.
Yeah.
And then the doorbell rings, and they had messaged Kim, said he has to go to the door. I'm like, I'm selling. I'm holding up a lounge fly, which I ended up selling twice because I didn't know it ran before I went outside.
no, really?
Yeah. So they get me to the door, and it's a singing wiener telegram telling me happy birthday. Yeah.
Oh no, he suppose it could have been a pickle.
Opera, like hand out, and he was a ham. He wouldn't stop. I'm like, all right, thank you. Let me get it. No, I have more songs. No. Oh, I'll come in with you. No, you're good.
You should have.
Come in.
Had him on Whatnot.
He was like, I'm getting a new audience. He was ecstatic to be on live.
That's hilarious. Oh,
That's
wow.
fantastic. That's actually not a bad idea. There you go, Chef, for your
Don't
next
get any
show.
ideas.
I'm gonna
call him up.
Send you singing wieners.
Hey, I need you to stop by Shishat's house. Singing
She's
telegram.
pro. She won't know it. It's all good.
She'll never know. Oh my god. So
No, I heard.
she heard she's just frozen. So Ashley, do you have questions even though we know you're frozen with a smile on your face? Hmm? Do you have any questions for Mark?
I think we lost her.
Maybe we did lose her.
Yeah.
Yep, we did finally lose her. Well, I know that she and you have been in partnership many times for many Ray trains and have had awesome relationships with her as well. And she's back. We'll let her ask her questions if we can get one out of her. Her internet is killing her tonight, y'all. We apologize. Hey,
Well, I don't
there
know
you
if
are.
you can hear this. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear the storm in the background. You said you just came from Georgia. Yeah, it's here again. It's like all week. So my question is, what is your favorite thing to sell? Like, I know plush and toys, but what? And you've kind of touched on the favorite thing to sell in general. It doesn't have to be
Whatever I
on
make the most money on.
Well, I mean,
I love that answer.
Mhm.
That's a reseller's answer.
That's so real.
So my dad and I race model boats, remote control, either electric, nitromethane, or gasoline powered boats. I've traveled all over. I've gone to Tampa. I've raced Georgia, South Carolina. My dad's raced in Indy. Because you think toy boats, but it's,
We're talking like short little,
like
you know,
like race boats, like 100-mile an hour on the water, remote control
okay.
boats. So
That's cool.
it's one of those things. The younger guys don't know as much about the older nitro motors and all. And I grew up with my dad and grandfather on lathes, doing motor work, doing, machine work and stuff like that. So I'll buy up estates of that kind of stuff. And most of it goes on eBay, but I'm sending RC parts all over Europe to people, South America, all over, who are still running these motors. And it's all machinists and hobby guys and all that. And I get to do it with my dad. So we'll buy up, a whole group of motors, put some together, sell some parts, do stuff. And we sit at the bench and talk shit and build boat motors.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's a great moment in time for you with your parents.
Mhm.
Sounds like you learned a lot of what you're doing now in life from them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's
I'm
just a
so
testament.
blessed.
Yeah.
I have amazing parents, amazing in-laws. My aunt Val, who's the other half of Chef's Nola with me. We do all the seasonings and our own catering through. And we had 6 or 8 extra parents that came down the aisle at the wedding a couple years ago that I'm just blessed with a community besides my reselling community and all.
Now, the moment I've been waiting for, that's great that you have that support. This is kind of what I wanted to end the show with, food. Let's talk about it. Now, I know that thrifting is your passion and the thrill of the hunt and all that stuff. What's your favorite thing to eat, Chef?
Ribeye. If I had a last meal, it'd be a open grill, flame cooked ribeye. The way the fat caramelizes, and all it needs is a little salt, pepper, garlic. Yeah, I've had fillets, I've had Wagyu, I've had porterhouses. There's not much I haven't tried. I've eaten all the weird organ meats of different animals, stuff. Ribeye's it.
If you could not cook one thing ever again, what would that thing be?
Breakfast. I hate getting up at 2 a.m. for big breakfast orders because we do catering. So if we're feeding a couple hundred people breakfast between 6 and 7 a.m. means we're going to work at 1 or 2 a.m.
Dang.
Wow.
That slaps. that slaps.
Yeah.
That's our
You know what
only-
my thoughts were? This is so like random, and this is where my ADHD brain goes. I'm like, what if we had a meetup and Chef catered?
Ooh.
That's what my
You're
mind
not the first reseller to ask me that.
Really?
Chef is just like, I want to go have fun too, y'all. I don't want to be stuck in the kitchen.
Right. Working.
I'm fine showing off for a meal. After that, you're on your own.
Yeah. At least as long as it's not breakfast, apparently, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Let me sleep in.
Yeah, let poor Chef sleep. I don't know. Do you sleep, Chef? I don't. It doesn't sound
A
like you
little
do
bit.
much of that.
Whenever my pit bull lets me have enough of the bed. I have a little rescue pit, and
Oh.
we were
Oh,
joking
awesome.
because we were gone for 4 days. She has been attached. I can hear her whining in the bedroom with my wife now because she's not sitting under my feet while we're doing this.
Oh.
We're gonna have Ashley read this next one. If she's still there, she might be frozen.
crud.
She's having it.
Yeah.
Ask him
about the hamburger helper.
So we're sitting there trying to pick where to go eat with Jag and Greg, and they're like, "Well, eat whenever." I'm sitting with someone and it's like, "Let's go pick a restaurant." Well, you're a chef. I'm like, one of my go-to comfort foods is my mom making me cheeseburger, hamburger helper. Do not do anything I don't cook tastes 10 times better than already.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people, and it's true. Like my nephews didn't know they could have hamburger helper, except on nights I would come over. My sister would make it, and they'd be like, "Oh, Funkel's coming over," because I'm Funkel to them.
Nice.
The fun uncle? Is that what that is? Okay, I like that. I love it.
I mean, there's something to be said about love, right? The love of doing something. You could taste it in food. I don't care what
Oh,
people
yeah.
say. If you don't love what you're doing, it just
My
doesn't
wife
hit the
was so
same.
nervous to cook for me the first time, and she's an amazing cook.
Oh,
Like I love it when she cooks, and she's like, "Oh no, you're a chef. I just cook. It's amazing."
just do it.
Let
Do
him
it,
cook.
women. Yeah.
Let 'em cook.
The
That's
only
awesome.
hamburger helper I know is boxed hamburger helper. That's a shame. Somewhere in the past,
that's
in the
it.
recent,
The cheeseburger, macaroni, hamburger helper out of a box. Cook
it
off the
doesn't do
ground
it
meat.
for me
A little
anymore.
bit
I
of milk.
tried it recently, and it was not like they changed the recipe or something. I
And
don't
see,
know.
people want to add cheese to it. Want to do it? Nope. I just want hamburger helper.
I agree, Ellie. That some of this stuff is like doesn't feel the same anymore. It's like,
It doesn't.
yeah,
Like I used to love it, and I tried it recently, and I was like, "What the heck is this? What is this? I need a homemade version."
yeah, for sure. My wife makes beef stroganoff for our son all the time. It's his favorite.
In a while,
So that's what she does for
I have a
him.
Hispanic husband, Mexican, right? So like, I
Mhm.
don't get a lot of those American dishes. Like, he whines at spaghetti, so
Oh, does he? It's not
we make
spicy enough.
tamales and pupusas over here, but it's so labor intensive. Like, dang.
Yeah. I want pupusas. You're cooking.
That's
Everybody
a
head
whole
over to
day
Ellie's.
right there.
I make a mean rose con pollo, and I do ropa vea that's really good too.
Oh, yum! Y'all making me hungry.
I could sit here and talk about food all the time, but
Yes.
we also want to make sure that we thank you for your time, Chef. We appreciate you being a part of the Launchpad Reseller podcast. Man, what an absolute journey it's been in season 1. We appreciate everybody that's been a part of this. If you're hearing the sound of our voices, Spotify, I don't care where you are, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, we've TikTok now. We're pretty much everywhere. Make sure you're following the channel. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, following along the journey, because it's just going to get that much better. As we grow as a community, we are in partnership. We're networking with each other. We're growing your businesses. We're doing all the things. So can't encourage you enough. If you want to be on the Launchpad Reseller podcast, all you have to do is ask, and you'd be surprised what my answer will be. So I don't care if you've been selling for 20 minutes, like I said in the intro, or 20 years, we will have you on Launchpad Reseller podcast. And I truly mean that. So be sure to ask and you shall receive. So we want to hear about your story in reselling, whether you just got started, whether you've been doing it for forever. Just kind of reach out to us and we'll let you know exactly when we can get you on. And I remember what I said, there's a backlog and I apologize about that, but we'll definitely see what we can do. Chef, what an absolute honor and tribute it was to have you on a Memorial Day. I just want to take a minute here to remember those who served that didn't come home. I served myself, and I had a lot of friends that didn't come back. So I just want to take that moment to just kind of remember the meaning of that, and also to just kind of remember it's a long journey for a lot of us that were in the service for that. So I can't say that enough. And I'm going to stop there before I get all emotional on y'all. So be sure you're following, liking, subscribing. And until the next time, remember, if you can't not be good at it. We'll catch you on the next episode of Launchpad Reseller Podcast.